All right, so I wanted to go back to the story of this guy a little bit more as well. So basically, it says he immigrated to the United States in early 1934, and I've talked about tons of 34 and 43 coding dealing with um, Abraham Lincoln. Interesting, this is in Illinois, whatever. But this guy, so 2 months after the repeal of Prohibition, he purchased the Lincoln Tavern. Interesting, the Lincoln Tavern. I know it's in Chicago, but still, I've been talking about Abraham Lincoln and the ties to JFK and also Barack Obama. And I've been covering a lot of it with the Nebraska football games that I actually have yet to watch. Hopefully, I will get time tomorrow night to watch it. I'm sure it's coded. I've seen that their field goal kicker is number 17. The other team's field goal kicker was number 17, and I did see that he missed a field goal. I'm sure it's all coded, but anyway, the Lincoln Tavern, and then that summer, a baby goat fell off the back of a truck into the street outside the tavern, and he nursed it and then named it Murphy. Interesting, Murphy, because that's like another name for like I can't remember how to pronounce it. Mephistopheles or whatever it is. I can't even think of it right now. Mephisto or whatever on the movie Faust. It's another word for like the devil, basically. I can't think of how to pronounce it, but anyway, he renamed the tavern after the goat, and then he called it the Billy Goat Tavern. And since I wasted so much time trying to explain that, I just pulled it up really quick. It's not actually the devil; it's the devil's representative. And then, however you say that, I'm not even gonna attempt. Anyway, I just basically wanted to point out the Lincoln Tavern, and then that's just the story of how it became the Billy Goat Tavern and whatnot. I've also been talking a lot about the number 60. They've been coding tons of stuff with the number 60 dealing with Abraham Lincoln. Uh, you even had Moses Malone, who died at the age of 60 on the first day of Rosh Hashanah. Rosh is 60, Hashanah 60, Abraham Lincoln 60, Lincoln, Nebraska 60. John Boehner just announced his retirement. John Boehner 60, the big earthquake, the biggest earthquake ever recorded, I think, or man, I can't even remember. I just made this, but I wasn't out of the loop for a few days. But Santiago, Chile, 60. Even where the Hajj Stampede was in Mina, Saudi Arabia, 60. Talked about Moses and whatnot, and Moses is in the tribe of Levi, 60. But check this out. So Lincoln Tavern, 60. The Cubs' first game this season was the first night game. Whatever, 60. And that's like 4 or 5 even, right? And then Billy, 60. This guy's full name, William Cianis, 60. Interesting too, as I'm thinking about it, Back to the Future, he goes back to 1955, and then he goes to 2015 in the part 2 or whatever. So that's literally a span of 60 years even. The Cubs also then finished this season so far. Going into the regular season, they finished with 97 wins. Interesting, the word 60 adds up to 97 even. Then it talks about all of these attempts to break the curse, which interesting. I mean, don't people find it kind of bizarre that all these things happen every time they try to break the curse? I mean, don't people see that? I just don't get it. Like, well, it talks about the Steve Bartman incident. Talks about even a 1984 one. We've talked about 84. Obama born on 84. Um, Literally, Jesuit is 84. The first Jesuit Pope is Pope Francis. Jesuit 84, like I said. I think even pet goat equals 84. Can't even remember. We'll just look it up real quick. Pet goat 84. I guess while I'm on the subject, it's called The Curse of the Billy Goat. Curse of the Billy Goat is 88. Interesting, because that's how fast the DeLorean has to go to time travel. It even talks about how somebody butchered a goat and hung it from Harry Carey's statue, blah, blah, blah. And then they were swept in the first round The elimination by Arizona came on October 6th, the same date that the GOAT appeared at Wrigley Field in 1945. I don't know, kind of strange. I even see a September 26th here. That was the first day that Pope Francis was in Philadelphia this year. Like, it's all tied into the Philadelphia train wreck. I guess you can come here and look at a lot of these interesting stuff. Even one on 4-1, like 41 that we've talked about. I know I made a video about Obama going to a school in Mesa, Arizona. It dealt with 44. It was right around the time that that supposed crazy guy that was in the 88 building or whatever, I can't even remember his name. It was like back in March maybe. But interesting this year, one of the things was to break the curse was on the day that Pope Francis was in the United States at 4:04. And it says that they consumed a 40-pound goat in 13 minutes 22 seconds at Taco in a Bag in Chicago. So who knows? Just thought that was interesting. It was that day. Especially I talked about this day with Michael Jordan, who ties into this as well. It's all about Chicago and whatnot. The bull, Michael Jordan is the bull god, and yeah, tons of stuff with Michael Jordan. You know, Michael Jordan even retired on 10/6 after wearing number 23 for 9 seasons. I mean, craziness. But there's more to that as well. I also wanted to mention that, so this was on 10/6 in 1945, but also in 1945 was the atomic bombings. And interesting, this year is the 239th year of the United States. We've mentioned tons of stuff. You know, it's just like 9/23, 239 or whatever, also 9/23. But the 52nd prime is even 239. But anyway, the first plutonium bomb was dropped on August 9th, 8/9. I'm sorry, so plutonium, I mean, because plutonium was actually called plutonium-239. So it ties into this year. Also, plutonium is the gas for the DeLorean and time travel, and it all ties into Back to the Future. Interesting is August 9th, we've talked about Queen Elizabeth being 89 years old this year. I believe on 8/9 she was even queen for 63 years, 6 months, and 3 days. I'll have to relook that up, but it's also, there's 144 days left until the end of the year. It all ties into this. They're all interrelated, but interesting, August 9th to the day that that game was played. So this bomb was dropped 58 days before this game. And 58 has been coded into pretty much everything in the last couple months. Interesting, too, it also ties into Back to the Future when Biff takes the Gray Sports Almanac that ties all into Freddie Gray and whatnot, but Biff takes the Gray Sports Almanac and goes back to 1955 and gives it to himself, and then when Marty goes back to 85, the mirror of 58, Biff runs the town and whatever, you know, but Biff went back to 1958, and he won it on his 21st birthday. And his birthday was on the 85th day of the year. So Biff won all of his money on the 85th day of the year in 1958. Marty goes back to the year 1985 and finds out all the stuff about Biff in part 2. Even, there's more to this than that, but even, his name is Biff Tannen. Biff Tannen in Gematria is even 85. World War II also ended because of this on September 2nd that year, which is 34 days before the game. I'm telling you, I've talked about Abraham Lincoln and the Moses and how it's all coded with the number 34 and 43. But anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm exhausted. I have to go to bed. I think there was some more stuff. I just can't even remember. I didn't write it down. I have to just search through here, but maybe I'll make another video tomorrow night on it if I find it. If not, I'm going to watch the Nebraska game and whatever, so we'll see what's up, I guess. Anyway, have a good night.